But because it was so harmful to the body, bro, that it was shamed. So they had to slow down on crack being in the black community. So what they did, they got smart and put the most addicting thing close to crack, which is social media. And now the black culture is hooked on it, and you can't argue it that it's a detriment to the body, because it's not. It's solely detrimental to your mental, and by law. And really, if you want to be logical, like, the government can't be faulted for that, because you're in control of your mental and your mind.
That's what I'm
That
thinking.
they're getting away with it.
Yeah, but ultimately, man, we all have free agency. We are self-governing creatures, and I think ultimately it comes down to choice. You know,
Mhm.
you choose to enlist yourself or to deprive yourself of a full experience of life because you are consumed by whatever guise they're using to entrap you to be distracted from whatever.
But that
That is
that just shows
absolutely.
you that
Let me
just
just say this. Let me just finish up. Basically, ultimately, is your choice. That doesn't obviate the responsibility that's incumbent upon all of us as individuals to make sure you don't fall for every fucking trap door that's out there in life. And some of the things that are some of the technology we see that's arising in our society today, it's very appealing. It's very tantalizing, and it's spurs a lot of curiosity. And a lot of people today are feeling so detached and atomized from family, friends, and things that that in a prior life, in a former life, we as human beings all enjoyed. Now it's becoming a malaise, like a sadness, because everyone's so detached, so they feel linked into the world by way of social media.
yeah, man. But damn, that just showed everything that you said, though. That just proves that even crack was a choice.
Thank you.
That was you can't resolve absolve agency, like, so that just means back then they already seen how, we were the culture was so easily influenced.
Yep.
So you took a step forward and
Hmm.
gave this community the access of not just being able to be in touch with just their city, their state. You are now able to touch millions of people at one time, and people being able to see that much without even having to try
Mm-mm.
to try.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have so free agency to be in your life. Every
Hmm.
and not just that, they're putting themselves in your life. You're allowing them to come because you're feeding them the ammo to come. So you can't say I people are all in my business and judge everybody. I think we need to bring back shame. We have to bring back shame,
Yeah.
because if you don't shame, they have nothing to
But
hold themselves accountable for.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, if we're speaking directly, the left side of the aisle has essentially shielded themselves from any sort of accountability, but um, while simultaneously projecting onto the other side what they're actually doing. Um, do I think we should bring back shame? Absolutely. I just want to. That's been my one of my leading points for a long time. But you have to get out there in the field, man. You got to get out there in the field. You have to literally engage with these degenerate ideologies because people don't even know that they're all part of a collective. They don't even know that they're part of this collective hive mind that has them so programmed to and conditioned to operate in a certain way, but they don't have any other alternative because I think the more prudent and the more sage approach to life has not been championed in such a long time. Granted, it's coming back. You see a more of a conservative swing happening, but I don't know. I think that more and more people who want to preach this message to encourage people to come out of the woke matrix and to become unwoke. Shout out. Um, you have to get out in the field. You have to go. You got to go back. Go to battle with them.
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Nah. Man,
Okay.
I'm a
Elaborate.
I'm a firm believer, bro, of the ones that don't deserve, now that we have so much ability to foresee so many things so quickly, there's no excuse for you not to see that train coming, for you to still be standing right there on the tracks. I believe for a person who knowingly sees that train, I can't risk my life jumping in to save you, nor I can't risk yelling, "Hey, you see that train?" Because your
I,
response is, "Damn, you don't think I see that train, man? You sitting there?" I
yeah,
can't. No, just if it's meant for the train to hit you, it's gonna hit you, dog.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear what you're saying. It's gonna obviously there's gonna be a segment of people who's never gonna understand, and life has to hit them. That reality has that dose of reality has to really fucking hit them for them to wake up and realize how they're walking off a fucking cliff. But again, there's still another segment of people who have the strictures of power, who hold the strictures of power and hold the power of the purse in control of our society today with that mindset you talking about. I'm not talking about getting out there and doing battle with the grunts, get out there and fucking die. Look, I'm talking about you have to push back against these this I'm not even gonna say these. I think it's a total monolith because a lot of these motherfuckers don't even realize they're talking parroting the same talking points and they have the same sort of programming when they're speaking and operating. That's their modus operandi, for lack of a better word. But yeah, you got to get out there and engage, bro. I don't understand how you disagree with that.
Cause man, I just believe the one. There's some who have to fall, man.
Oh,
They got,
so
you
at
gotta
okay,
let the ones to fall so you can be able to see what's around. For the ones that stick around and are strong,
JP, not you. I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna say Christians been thinking that way for a very long time. They've had their head in the sands and said that same school of thought, but they look at it in more of a metaphorical, prophetical way. Oh, God is gonna come back and He's gonna exact righteous vengeance against the enemies and all that. You're not doing nothing no different than what they're doing. That's not how we deal with these people. These people want to see you in the fucking dirt. These are brutal, in a lot of cases, sophisticated, psychotic people running the government right now, and they have maintained the levers of power for for a substantial period of time right now, and until shit, it don't even have to be necessarily just Christians, but I definitely think Christians should be on the front lines, but there needs to be a conglomerate of men to push back at this shit, and by way of doing that, engaging with it directly. You got to go to them. You have to know thy enemy, study them, outsmart them. Otherwise, acquiesce and just capitulate to whatever agenda that they want to propose, and then we can bitch about it on podcasts all night.
but I don't complain about it. Like I don't complain about what comes about. You know, I not anymore. Like I just feel like if that's where they're going, I'm just not gonna be involved. Like I'm just not, because if that is the way of destruction, I have to. I'm not worried. I'm not looking at it as God is gonna save them. Oh, He's coming back to save them. No, hey, you said in your word that they're gonna be destroyed. I'm wanting to see if you come back and do that saving part. Like I can't save them. I'm letting them be, and your wrath it has to take them out. Because whoever's under my covering and who's ever for
JP,
here,
that's such a that's literally you surrendering. It really is. It's just another form of surrender. That's what it is. Because you're basically saying, hey, no, because you nor me can predict the time frame of when the righteous judgment will befall our enemies. We don't know when that's going to happen. We don't know when that's going to happen. Only thing you hold fast to is that it's going to happen. Maybe not in my lifetime, but it will happen eventually because all of these things going to come to a head soon. But my point to you is, if this sort of ideology, this monolith, this pervasive, nefarious ideology has inculcated the minds of the masses and has completely diluted them from reality, why is it not incumbent upon you as from a utilitarian standpoint, like the greater good of people, to engage with these ideologies so that they understand that there's an alternative world view as opposed to this monolithic follow the blindly blind way of seeing life?
I seen my way out. What's so different from them? I'm trying to figure out what's so different from them, bro. You gotta
look. I get it.
Get out of that, man. They don't want to.
I get
they deserve everything that's coming to them, bro. They deserve it.
Yeah.
If you can't see that truck, if you can't see that truck coming, if it is going to destroy you, that's you want that.
Yeah, I see the truck coming, but you could be the you could be the truck, JP. You can actually be the truck.
Nah, I'm not the truck. But I'm not the truck. Not to destroy them. I don't need to be that truck.
I just think that's that. Okay. You know what? Granted, there may be some people who think like you. What's the point of even confronting it, dealing with it, addressing it, engaging with it? Because ultimately, it's going to come to its end. But I just think that's a pervasive approach. I'm sure not a pervasive, but a passive aggressive way of going about it. Just because the time span from how you are, who you are today, the time frame from who you are now to in the future, there's going to be a substantial amount of time in between that. So you're saying I'm willing to not do anything, combat this ideology in any fashion, because they're going to come to their end eventually, right? Just want to make sure I still man your position.
Not that they're going to yield eventually. No, they will be destroyed. They will be destroyed. The ones that need to be destroyed, be destroyed. The ones who find the light, they find the light. Not everybody. The ones that is meant for, they are destroyed. I don't feel like they're gonna yield to say you're right. The ones that are who see the light, they will come over. They won't stay.
They're not gonna see the light. This is okay. Do you think if okay? Do you think that had it not been for an entire galvanizing of the conservative message, Trump would not have been elected?
Say that one more time.
Do you believe that had it not been for the galvanization, meaning the rallying and collecting and gathering together of all the conservative voices, pushing out the conservative message, if they did not do that, would Trump have become our 47th president?
Oh, no, you're correct. You're correct.
Thank you. Yeah. Then that's my entire position. That the message is not.
For the ones
you can effectuate change. You really can. You have the capacity to do that.
But I don't care enough.
What do you believe that? Do you believe that you can effectuate change?
Yeah.
Not only just in your life, but in someone else's life.
Yeah.
Okay, you believe that?
Yes.
Do you believe you have a moral obligation to do that?
No. Not anymore. No.
Not anymore. Okay, so then we need to explore.
Not for outside of who and under my covering, I believe my family, yes, my mother, my father, my uncles, my kids, just I feel like yes, my close homies that's been there for a while, everyone that has been for me, yes, but new people, if you're around and you're watching my actions and you choose to come and seek whatever, I'm fine with. I will not turn anyone around and say, nah, I'm not fucking with you. I am not going out there and beating the streets anymore because I've done enough and I'm still doing enough for who can see me outside of my circle. You're welcome to come in. I'm at the barbershop. I do a lot of things in there to so many people in the community. They're there listening. You know, they're doing this, that, and that, coaching basketball, you know, little league. These kids are there. I am doing something. I'm just not going out of my way for millions and millions of people. I
No,
can't
I'm
myself.
okay. No. See, okay, then that's slightly straw manning what I'm trying to say. So you might be mischaracterizing what I'm trying to say. I'm saying, given the opportunity for you to combat this or encounter, for that matter, um, a particular worldview that stresses falsehoods about reality, would is there a moral imperative from you to combat that ideology in an effort to, I don't know, reconcile this person, this person, help this person reconcile their worldview with actual reality?
Is this person random?
Could be. I mean, outside of your
What am
family,
I?
because you've already established that you have a commitment and a duty to do those things for your family. So this would be anyone outside of that bubble.
Okay, but how have I been introduced into this situation
You're
of
just having a
now
discussion. You're just having
if
a
this
discussion.
random person just you know how people randomly stop you in a store or see you somewhere and they
I mean,
just
you're at
say,
a
my
bar. I mean,
spirit
it's
stopped
just a
me here. If
just
they
a
come and talk to me there, and then I see more of them using me as whatever spirit made them stop to speak to me, but they end up venting to me and expressing things to me. I won't shun them away from what I may have to offer to them. Now, it's if they want to still say, hey man, I'm glad you told me. If you what's your number? Keep in touch. I don't mind it. Or if I know I see them in those certain environments all the time, like the gym. Somebody just start venting at the gym. I know that I'm gonna see them. Yeah, if you're gonna come continue to talk to me, yes. We build some type of relationship. Yes, I may even start reaching out to you and using close, having you close because I could be that change for you. But no, I'm not beating the streets, street walking, going to
Yeah.
fight
What do you
against
mean by
how
what do you mean
ICE
by beat? What do you
movies
mean by
are.
beating the streets? Wait. What do you mean by beating the streets? I just want to make sure we're not talking past each other. Like, what do you mean by that?
Even with the when you look at content, you got people out there going out in the streets and you talking to people, trying to see what like Officer Taylor,
Oh
stuff like
no.
that.
See, no.
And
I mean, to each his own. I mean, some people had the capacity to do that. Actually take the message to college campuses, events, different things like that. But I'm more so speaking, if given the opportunity to actually engage with this um other worldview, this worldview that basically states that reality is not what we all prescribe reality to be. It's actually whatever you want it to be. So this subjective
I
worldview.
will always combat it when it is in my space.
There
That
you
is
go.
when I will combat it when it's in
Why?
my
No,
space
no, no. Why? Why is that? Why
because
is that your instinct to do that?
I will shun it away because that's not what I stand for in my space.
So
If
what?
you're
So
gonna be in
what?
my
According to
space,
your logic, so what? If that's not what you stand for, and that's what they stand for, by your own logic, you don't have a moral obligation to correct them or
Yes, it is
to
when it is in my space. Because more than likely, either I have put myself in that space by mistake, I'm
yeah.
just coming there, but or if there are somebody that I know that we just have a difference of opinion with certain things like that, then yeah, we're gonna have a discussion. But like for me, for someone random, that if it's in my space, like, hey, whoa, what you, I will get distance myself away from that. But
Okay,
I'm not.
but
I don't know how else it will be that for my moral obligation when if it's not in my space at that
I
time for me to
understand.
be speaking on it.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. But you're saying so long as it's not in my space, it is not my responsibility to engage or quote unquote beat the streets and to try to convince them of whatever. It's not. You're saying that's outside of your purview.
Yes, sir.
Understood. Understood. But back to the scenario that I proposed just a second ago. However, if it is in your space, if you have that opportunity to confront this, this particular worldview, you're saying that you would engage with it.
Yes. It's plenty of times when I'm in the barbershop.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm there, yeah, though it's some ideology and mindsets of that nature there. So I combat that all the time. They can't wait till I come around because they know if they can get me started, I'm a rattle the cage. They know I'm a rattle the cage. When it is in my space, I will correct it. I promise you. And that's why they
Mm-hmm.
do it. Because they know in that hour or 2 hours that we're there, we all gonna have some conversation. And they
Mm-hmm.
all gonna team up on me. You have some that sit in the back that they shake their head like, yeah, they agree with me, but you have more of everyone that stands against me vocalizing itself, whether than the ones that agree with me, they're sitting in the back letting it happen. Now, in that case, Neil,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
if it was someone else that stood that way and was going to back in the barbershop against those type of people that you're talking about, I will stand behind them and not let them fight by themselves. I won't leave them hanging, whether how strong that they are holding
Mm.
the ground. It is my obligation and duty,
Your moral obligation.
my moral obligation, to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that person does not stand alone and have to fight that war by themselves. I will
So
not do.
So that's ultimately what I have been saying this whole time. I think you using this term beating the streets, that's not I wasn't even thinking about that at all. I mean, that's beating the streets hard. I'm saying that's all I was saying. Like there's more and more people you're seeing that's disengaged and would not engage with this crazy worldview. There's not anyone that feels the obligation to because they have the live and let live sort of mind frame. And
Mhm.
they don't even know, unbeknownst to them, that's part of that worldview to just let the shit fly by the wayside. So I just think basically all at the bare roots of what I'm saying um, is it your job to speak truth, speak the truth at all times? That's
Yeah, I
ultimately
mean,
fundamentally what I'm
I
saying.
told you when I'm faced with it, yes. When I'm
Yeah,
faced
I
with
agree.
it, bro,
I agree.
if my opinion is not needed, bro, I won't offer it.
Mm. Yeah, no,
That's
I
all
hear
I'm
you.
saying.
I mean,
I
yeah. I
won't
mean, yeah.
offer it. I
No,
won't
I mean
offer it at
that
all.
makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense, and I think we both on agree in agreement. So anytime I'm talking about this, don't take it to the extreme. I ain't talking about going out there and rallying and doing all that other stuff. I'm simply saying, would you speak truth at every opportunity that you get? Would you speak the truth?
Oh yeah. What?
Well, there you go. Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. And being that you are, being that you believe that, I think there are lesser you than there are of, you know, them.
Yeah.
So isn't that even more of an incentive to get out? Well, to isn't that even more of an incentive to, I don't know,
No,
kind
because
of like a rallying
what
cry
I'm
to,
saying is I'm not okay. We saying beating the streets. I get it. Yeah, that's a super extreme. But what I'm saying is I'm not out somewhere enough that I have to outside of work and outside of the barbershop, or but I don't know anywhere else that those would be conversations that I met with and expectations that I met with to speak it.
oh,
I
hold up,
just
JP. Do you consider yourself conservative? Like most of your views grounded in conservative philosophy?
yeah.
Is it anything that would any sort of point position that's on the left that you would agree with or are somewhat sympathetic to?
Mm, uh I
Be
think I
real.
think nah I think at first DEI that was cool. I think it's ran its course now.
Hmm.
And I think it needs to be, I do think it needs to be going ahead and slowly
So you thought
exiled.
it was, so at one point you thought it was a good thing.
Well, yeah, what it was initially created for, but the left
What made you think it was a good thing though when it was initially created? What was your what actually convinced you? Okay, this might be a good thing.
I just think when a lot of the black community, first started at the 68, after Martin did what he did, for them to be coming into this world to then they are, more black men or more black, well, mostly black men were looked at to with more consideration for jobs. And I think we look at it more so all the management thing positions, but just entry level to get a black man in the door. And once he get in the door, it is his job to take advantage of it
Mm-hmm.
and don't use it as a crutch, but of thinking just because I'm this, I can go in and be considered. Back when it first came about, that was the great way for any black man that really deserved it. Because it's a small number of,
What makes any man deserve an entry level job? What makes you deserve it?
well, back then, bro, not saying that they deserved a chance. Because back then, the way that it was transitioning, you had to go ahead and get an
When you say
influx.
back then, what year are we talking about?
I'm talking about right after Martin, bro.
So
Like
you're talking about like
integration.
60,
Talking
60,
about integration.
67,
Soon
68.
as we able to get into basketball and pro basketball, schools, everything that we were able, jobs, we were able to plant jobs, we were able to get in. There's going to be a small number of men that took advantage of it, but at the end of the day, them giving them the opportunity, that's all you can ask for. It is their job to capitalize off of it. But
So let
now
me
it is a crutch.
okay, okay,
It
okay,
is a
okay,
crutch
okay.
now.
So
You don't
okay, so you,
deserve. You don't just deserve it now for identity politics because we're way past the time frame of saying black people don't get enough opportunities. That is a lie. In 2024, now there's no need for DEI. We've gotten so many of us in positions now that we don't have. There's no excuse to saying we're still oppressed or we're being overlooked. We are now getting in the culture, not black people, but the black culture is getting in these high positions based on just being okay with the title. They're not even qualified enough to be in positions that the DEI is affording them because they're
but
pissing
if
me.
if they okay, so my thing is I have to, and I just want to circle back because you said you thought it was noble because it gives black men a chance, right? That's you saying
The
fundamentally
opportunity.
at the heart of
It
it,
was
you
an
thought it was
opportunity.
given the opportunity.
Mhm.
But then I don't know. I would beg to differ because again, prior to Martin Luther King, they were having these opportunities. They had all this. I know this is I know we want to conveniently forget about the prosperous
Well, I
black
know, and
community
I know
prior to
where you're going at.
1960.
You're correct.
Well,
I know
I'm
where
just saying, I'm just simply saying they had the opportunities afforded to them now. I'm just saying I don't, and it's not even got nothing to do with you. I severely hold true to the standard of self accountability and not depriving people of their agency. So, regardless of whatever your circumstances were, there's a way out, especially in America. There's a way out. And, granted, it may not be the most favorable outcome, but there's a way out. And there was opportunities given to them. I mean, because clearly they were doing well. Um, it wasn't until Martin Luther King came along and convinced black people that they're not doing quite so well, and that America owes them a debt of service.
well, okay, you're right. But Martin was absolving them of the agency of choice and the ability to go out there and get it, because they never recovered mentally.
Nope.
They played a great fear tactic when they burnt down the Black Wall Street and when they burnt down Tulsa.
Well,
that was because and I'm gonna tell you why, how they have used that one thing, those things, as a mental shake. You hear it now. That's the only time that it was a destruction of the black community to where togetherness. But now the black community still says, well, every time we get something, they just burn it down. They only did it one time. We never tried it again. We never tried to come together again to see if we can go to war if they try that shit again. But that mental breakdown to say, hey guys, can you let us in your establishments? And if you let us in, that'll give us a mental breather that we don't believe that, we don't think that we have this PTSD that if we're in with y'all, y'all won't come down and burn our establishments down because we're being able to camouflage ourselves within y'all. If y'all let us in, that means we're together, right, guys? That's y'all not gonna burn our shit down, right? Rather than fighting that shit and going back to what we used to have and staying within self. We wanted that white only pie, and now we realize that shit is disgusting.
The white only,
it has no flavor.
White only pies, huh?
But being in the number of the situation with them, playing the game to where, again, what corporate world is, yeah, you're gonna succeed, but until we gonna stay together and only shop with us and be only with us, bro, like that's not going. It's no way. It's now that fear tactic, bro, killed him. I think we gotta. If you take the DEI away, it is force some people to really start showing themselves and showing who really deserve it and who just been. The DEI was pretty much welfare, woke welfare.
Welfare.
It was woke Section 8. It was a voucher. And eventually it's running out. Everything's going to run out. And it's running out now because everything that they did, the government did for blacks, it was never meant for you to use it as a crutch and be dependent on it. It was to use it, get yourself going so you're not dependent on it anymore. Everything's going to run out, and they're not real. They didn't realize that eventually that woke welfare, which is DEI and being able to participation trophies, it has a limit. But it can run out and you can renew it after these 4 years. But I think it's time for at least another 8. I don't know if a Republican gonna get 12 years like the Democrats did, but I see the next 8. I believe the next 8, because even when after Trump get out of office, man, what the Republicans got set behind him. You got Vivek, you got You got a lot of Republicans that can come behind. You got JD. Man, it's a lot of Republicans can come behind Trump, man. And I don't see if you throw Kamala out there again, man. I don't see any Democrat being able to stand with what's coming up Republican side.
Yeah, I agree. They are hard pressed to find anyone right now at this juncture.
With them controlling everything too right now.
Yeah, it's a mandate for sure.
Controlling everything for the next 4. Yeah, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah. I mean, there's always checks and balances and strictures within government that a lot of formalities and things like that they could use to stifle it to some degree. But I think if they play this right, Trump plays this right, he plays it right. This could actually be transformative in a what can I say? I don't even want to say regressive way, but more so transformative in a golly, maybe I should say progress, but I don't want to say progress because we're not progressives. So I don't know. I just see Trump actually getting in there and cleaning house, and because he actually has experience now having been president for first 4 years. Now he's a little bit more knowledgeable. I think that he's a little bit more serious because if you compare him to how he was back in 2016, Trump had a lot of mouth, and he still does to some degree, but now he's a little bit more measured. That's what I see.
Yeah, man. It's got to be some of these woke motherfuckers. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous, man. Just seeing the mindset, man. Like, social media has paid these folks. Like, I mean, it's just like crack. You throw it in the black community, that they even incentivize you to spread it amongst your community because they're gonna pay you for it. Like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, they're gonna pay you to drop this crack to your community. Most of the white people on some of these, stuff on social media, they're pretty much paid bots. You got a couple of them who play into the shit, but most of them bot. But the black people that's on these shares, bro, these are real. You see only black people arguing and having these conversations, 50-50 conversation, relationship conversations. It's just like, man, we the only ones to what a man should do, what a woman do. We're the only culture that just don't got that don't have it.
The basic fundamentals.
Just basic. Argue about the basics.
Yeah, I read this quote, I don't know, a while back. It says, stupid people argue about stupid people. Smart people argue about ideas.
Yeah.
We
arguing about who's the greatest of all time. We arguing about some rap beef, like what Drake should have did with Kendrick. I'm like, why y'all care somebody relationship that somebody just found out they was just cheated on? It's Cardi B and Offset. I'm like, why are y'all so? What makes you so invested with other people's lives? Like, I've never. It is astounding. That's why I say, man, they all deserve, man. The world should be rinsed. It should be rinsed. Like is rinsed and cleaned, and the ones they just gotta go. Whatever.
Yo, what you think about this? Hold up, I'm gonna put it up. Hold up, what you think about this? Oh shit, hold up.
Know how the universe works, and you need to know how.
No, that's not it.
Have we implanted the chip in animals? And if so, what are the results? A monkey has been able to control the computer with its brain.
All right, already. That's not the video I wanted you to see. I got to get this crap together. Hold up.
I see just from that little part where that's going, man, they're really
Hold
absorbing.
on. Last video.
You're going to create a.
Did you know that Elon Musk just implanted a computer chip into a human brain, which could control your phone just by your thoughts? What? Yes, his company Neuralink has just launched a device called Telepathy, which uses brain-computer interface technology that could help people to control computers just by their thoughts.
I don't
And
even
this
understand what this ass is saying.
especially for people
Golly,
who have
shut
some
up.
sort of disability. But the question is, how does this tech work?
Yeah. Here we go. This is the part.
Of a coin and some papers and wires are inserted into a brain with the help of a surgical robot, as no human is capable of doing this procedure. Now, this chip is battery operated and it could be charged wireless, so you don't have to worry about replacing it. And now, once it is inserted, the possibilities are just endless. You can play video games with your mind, access anything on internet, or drive a car in the future. Although all of this looks very promising and futuristic, but there is one big problem. Imagine somebody hacking your brain chip and reading your thoughts, controlling your limbs, or treating your body like a robot for their ulterior motives. Historically speaking, even with such advancements, if a 19-year-old boy could hack 25 cars in a dozen countries, imagine the danger if a person's body gets. Isn't that concerning? What are your thoughts about this brain chip?
Ooh, what you think about that?
I mean,
dang. Hacking someone's brain.
If it ain't God that's coming back to one, like you were saying, waiting for the destruction and the demise, it's gonna be that. That could be what I'm talking about, because the only person that's gonna allow something like that to happen is the woke-minded people. Because that type of shit that's just about that they're talking about even more absolves them of the agency to decide things of their own. They will start being dependent on the computer to put them in the best positions possible so they can think less.
Yep.
Honestly and truly, they've absolved young little boys the agency of having logic, because right now there's such a high number of little boys being raised by feminine energy.
Yep.
Feminine energies, the full reaction is to act emotionally. If you look at under comments on a lot of things that happen that may be embarrassing videos, you see under the comments immediately men, the first thing is, oh no, that couldn't have been me. That's a justified crash out. What is anything a justified crash out that does not show that your family or you are being harmed without you putting yourself there? But you're talking about because some guy made you fall, dunked on you in a basketball game, which that is supposed to happen. You want to crash out because he embarrassed you in front of the world. Yep. You know, that again, that is only what my destruction that I'm talking about. Then I can't, because at the end of the day, what they're trying to do is keep the weak mind, but the left will take advantage.
I brought that point.
Not absolve in any part of this to use this to their advantage with that. Elon Musk cannot have this, and then the left cannot use this and put their own swing on it. You got Elon Musk trying to take the woke mind and put it in a logical mind to where it's business oriented, to where it goes and handles business like it's supposed to. What it is, what your purpose is to do in this world, but the left would take it because he can't keep them away from it. The elites on that side have enough money to buy in and invest in whatever he has, to do what they need to do. So they will take it, put it over here to keep them dumbfounded, to keep them to feel like, okay, we're going to keep marching against whatever that the good to contaminate the mind, to contaminate the world. So they're going to use it to their advantage. So I mean, that's what I see.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. It's definitely precarious technology. You know, we are stepping into the unknown, and it's really, absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's an adage that has proven itself true in many a times. So I think, I don't know, it would be wise. I mean, it's almost inevitable though. I mean, because creative destruction has been an element of our society for a long time. I mean, there's going to be new inventions and more what do you want to call it, more reaches beyond the recesses of our understanding. There's going to be science that tries to defy logic, God, and whatever. It's going to be all that shit is going to happen. It's going to always come down the pipe because that's just part of the human condition as we evolve. But to some degree, you just got to understand that with that power comes responsibility. With that power with great power comes great responsibility, and that falls on every last one of us. To Elon Musk or whoever, Jeff Bezos creating the iPhone. Is it Jeff Bezos? Did he do the iPhone? Yeah, the iPhone. No, not no.
That was
Jobs. Yeah. Right.
But now it's Bomber.
Who?
Bomber. He owns the Clippers now.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just saying, it comes from one idea and it materializes, distributes, and to the masses. From that point, then it falls right back into your hand, and how you use that object, that particular object, is going to be for the good or for the bad. So you can't fight against it. I mean, technology is here to stay. I mean,
it is.
Elon Musk is talking about fucking going to the moon. Well, what did he say? He said Mars will be populated by like 2040 or some shit. I'm like, Mars? Like, what? So while we sit here as black people arguing about the mundane realities and the minutia of life, there's an entire
who cheating on who and who fucking who.
Yeah. And we get a kick out of it. Like, almost crave it. It's crazy. It's almost like an addiction. It's part
and then
embody it. Yeah, act it out. I thought art imitates life, but art does imitate life. That's the way it's supposed to be, but it's kind of the reverse for the Black community. We're like we're
influenced by it.
Yeah. There you go.
To create our own, but within creating our own, not understanding the difference between a character and real life, because the Black culture won't believe the character until the character acts out what they play on the internet in real life. Yeah. For them to believe you. If you go out and crash out in real life while you're on the internet, then we can believe you about that action. But you can't tell us you about that action and don't crash out.
And don't crash out.
Now, it's also being championed now to live a fake life because the internet is not real. So people are faking it. And if they can get away with it, now that they've got so many people have getting away with it, now people are saying, well, the internet is not real. But why has your character stepped out in real life though? And you want people to give you grace by the character, but you're not just wanting to live that character on the internet.
Right.
Or not only that, you are just acting that on the internet, but these weak-minded people are taking what you're talking about and implementing it in their life for no reason at all, because they see it so much. They start to program their mind that this is a habit or this is life. You start normalizing bullshit because you see it so much. So you start to internalize it.
Yeah.
That's why we turn the internet off.
Yeah, it becomes embedded into your behaviors. And next thing you know, that's just what you are. That kind of reminds me of one of my good friends that I grew up with. I've known him since the 9th grade, and we had a similar background. 2 brothers. He was the oldest. I was the oldest. My 2 brothers, and his mom was a single mom. Mine was a divorcee. it was just some similar, some overlap a little bit in our backgrounds, but he had we used to rap about like I don't know, we used to be kind of classified as like conscious rappers when we used to rap, not like Talib Kweli or no who's another conscious rapper back in the day, maybe like Nas a little bit, but um we wouldn't rap about the shit that you would hear people typically rapping about in the black community, like as a dude, as three young teenagers, three dudes. Nonetheless, he started to transition and start rapping like that, like the gangster shit. And I'm like, okay, you know, and I actually thought it was dope because he was able to incorporate like a knowledge of like life and almost a good message in his rap, but it would kind of draw from like, you know, the trenches and how niggas living. And I'm like, okay, you know, whatever. It's kind of weird because I know you and you ain't really been in the trenches like that. And next thing you know, gradually his personality became his rap lyrics. Like next thing you know, he is actually in the trenches hanging out with people that I don't even know anything about. So it was almost like he had to embody his own words. He had to become that character, that caricature. And to the point where he and I we don't even speak anymore because he's so that person. He is so completely transformed into the rap lyrics and things he was rapping about that's literally how he lives his life right now. So that's a perfect example of everything we saying.
Sad story. I mean, bro, in this day and time, you gotta be entrenched in your target audience, bro. If you're not drenched with your target audience, you can't keep your target audience.
That's all I'm about to say. If I was drenched in the trenches, I'd have them a large subscriber pool right now. I don't subscriber base.
Listen, man, I just watching most of these guys' content, man, that has visibility, bro. Like, if you ain't living like you saw, it's crazy because watching the dude Flugazy, like,
oh yeah, they eating his ass up.
I was like, it is funny because you have to kind of give him grace because you know, is he preaching that just don't make the same mistake I made, or like is he really just telling them like, hey guys, don't do this because I ain't doing it? I never heard him say that was his life, that he's
me too.
Ignoring that.
But he's still
he's
not to do it. But hold up, JP, okay, granted, was he like kind of relatively new to the podcast world? Like he kind of blew up like probably relatively recent. So within the past like 2 to 3 years, maybe sooner than that. But
maybe the end.
So he may have not even felt the need to do all that just yet, considering he's still a new face. He's still, you know, his content just getting out there.
Shock value got to get you there, and he was giving a lot of shock value.
Yeah. You know
what I'm saying?
I never heard him say that about the
like. Even if he wasn't living it, you gotta just be, your question gotta be, but is he lying? And that gives him grace. Like when you say, because even not embodying that character, even being that character, there's a difference for giving truth, even through that character. Like
that's what I'm saying. That's why I think it's a logical fallacy almost, and it's like it's called a tu quo que logical fallacy, where it's like you're giving a position from you're appealing to a hypocritical standpoint essentially, whereas I can still condone, I can still not condone children smoking cigarettes while smoking cigarettes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But people want to absolve themselves of accountability, so they preach. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be able to walk what you preach. because they want to use that to combat the truth that you're giving them, right? So that's the problem. That's the issue. But you're right. I just think that what saved them. I mean, and you don't have to give that extra context to tell people, well, you know, I don't live this way, but this is my advice. It's up to you to give that, but it's also the other people's job to take him outside of it and listen to the message.
Yeah, like you just because he may not represent what he espouses, that doesn't invalidate the truth of what he's saying.
And you know, you got to give, but on the same side too, you got to give him grace about. I mean, if you go preach it and beat it down like that out loud, you got to be the walking example, though. You can't just be.
You think that, but you think that diminishes his message because he's not exemplifying it?
No, but also there's certain things that I don't touch because I feel like as a leader that can really, when you're just because you're giving a message, people get lost on giving a lot of messages and get lost behind because it's the truth. Do as I say, not as you see as I do, just because it's the truth. You do have to have some accountability on your end when you're beating that horse like that to be a leading example, because when you speak about the man being the leader, the way to your people to follow is by seeing action. You can't lose yourself without giving actions on the right people to follow behind. You want the people who mentally stable.
How much? Okay, so how much?
You gotta give the woke individuals that's lazy some type of visual to get them to understand what's going on, because like you said, they're a little harder, they're a little more work. So you got to be able to combat that with a fight, right? And your fight is not back and forth. The easier way to fight it is by action, and then seeing that you have to now be able to eliminate them to seeing that, because you see the action behind the words, you just too lazy to even know, to just even be able to listen, to hold yourself accountable, to see this is the way. You don't.
But you don't think it has no bearing on the receiver, on the listener of the message? You don't think it has any bearing on them that this person that's giving this message is has taken account for his actions, those actions that he is now espousing directly against or opposing, and you don't.
But Neil, this is weird. This is the reason why when you ask me about fighting and combating certain things, this is where again where we split. Why I'm telling you, when you asking me that, I'm because I understand the mindset of what you're saying. Listeners, the bearing on the listeners. Neil, me, you, anybody that's on your platform or anybody in your circle or anyone under your covering, we can hear him, hear the message and ignore his actions, because whatever we understand the message has validity, because is he lying? No, he's not. But the ones who are not in the mindset that we have to, when you're saying going out there and combating it, our easier way, the first step and the easiest way to be able to acknowledge that they're just dumbfounded and don't want to do the right thing is by leading with action. Them watching us after what we're saying, watching that action and be able to piece it with our words and say, you know what? He ain't lying. I just don't want to do that. That is too much work for me. And that's how you slot certain people who really don't want to do the good work or the things that's supposed to be done.
That's I'm not trying to give them, but I'm not trying to give them. I'm not trying to absolve them from the responsibility. Yeah, you're right. Again, I mean, that's consistent with what I always said is free agency, your choice. You know what I'm saying? You make that decision, and you are consciously aware when you are making whatever decision to follow or do whatever the hell you plan on doing. That is your choice. But as far as the person giving the truth, I think that person, I don't know, like you said, it's not until that has, that the opposing views clash with your views is when you have that moral imperative to say something about it. And, you know, that can take the form of, I don't know, whatever actions you feel necessary at that particular juncture. So, but I just think, you know, that can happen on a micro and a macro scale. And I just think that, I don't know. I just think there's more and more people who takes the approach of just rather disengaging than to actually speak the truth against something that totally does not align with reality. And it's and the more and more that these falsehoods are able to prevail, the more truthful, well, excuse me, the more credible they start to sound. Like you repeat a lie long enough, it becomes true. The mere fact that we're talking about transgenderism and all this other bullshit substantiates that point. Like this should not even be a conversation. Why are we in the 24 and the 20 what first century talking about why are we talking about whether a man could be a woman and a woman can be a man? Why is that a serious topic of discussion? Because to tell the truth long enough, tell a lie long enough, it becomes true.
Black people have normalized realizing they know they're not. I gotta give the black culture a little bit of grace. They know, right? But they are choosing to still walk this way because they feel like the only way, again, like Martin asking, hey guys, can we just be a part of it? And because y'all here with us, that we still get the opportunity to do whatever to make a better life. Black culture have also sadly realized that, going with the woke culture, that that's the only way that black people can get that chance. They're attached to the alphabet community now.
Yeah, they're the biggest cowards.
They're because in those laws, when it's talking about the diversity, equity, inclusion, it's all about gays and immigrants with the inclusion of people of color. So, and it's not even all black people. That's why they keep wording things differently. So it's not solely saying that it's black. So now they've lumped people of color because now, okay, Indians and Arabs are people of color. Puerto Ricans are people of color. They're not white. So it's like now it's not black people. Black people hear people of color. They just immediately think black still.
Yeah,
like, nah, they've made it a way wider range, and you guys are even more lower on the totem pole because now that they've widened the opportunity by using people of color, y'all are now still further down. It's not y'all that they're talking about.
Yeah, they wanted to align themselves. They wanted to align themselves and try to expand this whole coalition to make believe that other ethnicities are, I don't know, fighting the same quote unquote struggle like they are, which is pure bullshit. I've never believed it. I've never given any thought to it because it's just retarded. Like, how the hell you think a Mexican from Guatemala got something in common with your dumb ass?
Yeah. It's wild. It's wild, son. And they playing right into it just off of the, with the possibility of clout and fame, dog. Fame and clout don't necessarily bring money into your pocket. It's not guaranteed to bring money. So they got this misconception that all fame and relevancy will bring money. Which
really, that's what we are.
It's just it's telling you to feel like you can do whatever you want and to being absolved of shame. You need to be shamed for the things that you're trying to do for money and relevancy.
Mr. So-and-so says, in the old days, if a man acted like a woman per se, they were called a flamer or something else that rhymes with maggot. A woman, acted like a man. Oh, if a woman acted like a man, they were called a bitch. Trans is a nonsensical talking point. It is, man. It's so crazy. And you know what I was thinking? This might be a total non sequitur, like off the topic, real quick. But you've heard of this phrase, gender dysphoria, have you?
Yeah,
What do you know
somewhat,
about that?
somewhat,
Yeah. So
somewhat.
let me just look it up real quick so I can make sure I get the correct definition. And then I'm gonna follow up with this question. Hold up.
No matter what the
Gender.
definition is, I know it's some bullshit.
I just want to make sure I'm saying it correctly. Gender
I
dysphoria.
don't even need to know the definition. I just know to stay away from it.
Yeah.
Don't.
Just
I know when they gotta bring terms when they start making when the elite started making terms for sexuality and things like that. Yeah, that's not science. That's indoctrination. So
gender dysphoria.
anything that what I learned when I was younger, any new term or any new phrase, anything that y'all done combine, I don't subscribe to none of that. Yeah.
Not bitch, but butch. Yeah, I remember them big butch, them big strong trucker women. They were called butches. They were big backs. Yes, it affect men only during period puberty. No, Big Bertha is what I called them. 98% of men grew out of it. Yeah, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And one of the major components, I think that actually helped men with overcoming that bitch made itis, excuse the language, but was bullying. We need to bring back bullying too. I mean, not bullying in its extreme form, which but I just think that there has to be some sort of shock value occurring during puberty to help shape men, and that can come in the form of bullying. We got to have that we got to have our manhood tested so that way we know where the boundaries are, and at least have some sort of guidance to build off of. But now it's like now you taking that out completely out of schools, and these kids are pretty much unfettered unfettered from any sort of disciplinary action, so they can do the hell whatever they want, and it's all feelings based. Oh, my feelings. Talk about your feelings. What's
Yep,
going on?
you
She
ain't
said,
lying.
hold up, it's on its way now that men have pretty much become softer than women. Yeah, I know. And Drake's weak ass too with his music. His music didn't pacify men too. Now you got men over there in the car singing Drake songs. Cut to the rose, just in my own phone. I've been in this club too long. JP, you weren't playing that?
I've been stopped listening to certain music,
And
man.
Genuine too, huh?
I've stopped, man. I've stopped.
No,
I can't even lie to you, bro.
it was a concerted um definitely a concerted effort to uh feminize men. Who is Drake? Drake is I know you said you were older, Mr. So and so. Drake is a famous pop star or rapper or whatever you want to call him. He sings, raps, whatever. He has this very like his tonality whenever he starts to sing, it's very effeminate. He literally sounds like a woman singing on the song. And a lot of men are, you know, they listen to his music. So anyway. Um JP, anything else on your mind, man? Because I was probably gonna shut it down, G. Hey, I appreciate having this talk. See what I'm saying? Anytime you hit me up and we can do this, I'm gonna do this. You heard?
Yeah, man, I had a little time, man. I wanted to see what you had going on, bro.
Yeah, and you know, thanks for your little 2 cents in that situation for that situation prior to going live. You know what I'm saying? Not that it made a bit of a difference. It's just that we got Uncommon Woman in here. She's always late to the party. Uncommon Woman. Before I go, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question since you are here. Hold up. Hold up. Why is there any expectation uh that a man or a husband should have to answer to his wife? Why is there any expectation that a man should have to answer to his wife? What do you think? Is there an expectation that a man should have to answer to his wife, JP?
Huh?
Do you think it's an
Is it what now?
expectation? Is there an expectation that a man should have to answer to his wife? Or a husband should have to answer?
Her, as in, like,
As in, you're about to make a
come to the congregation because there was a decision that you made.
well, essentially you're about to make a big decision, decision concerning the family, and you've already crossed all your T's, dotted all your I's, and you let her know that this is about to be the move, and she starts to question you about it.
Well, and so, okay, I think you still got to come to the congregation and communicate that this is the decision that's about to be made, because we came together to ask about what needs to be done. So me coming to you and telling you this is what needs to be done. Did you come to the conversation with a solution yourself, and we're just kind of really bouncing that off the okay? But I'm what you're saying is that she came to me and saying, hey, what do we need to do? And then I finally dotted my I, crossed all my T's, and say, all right, this is the best thing. Questioning it, I mean, if you never came with anything, you can ask, you sure that this you really, and like, yeah, all right, pull the trigger. You should never crush it. Like, you sure? Well, the first initial before I went to the drawing board, you had nothing. So what is the concern after I bring this back to you where I had nothing to bounce off your consideration for? For me to align both of what our goal is to handle this, I don't have nothing to level out what you may think of your concern. So
let me get a definitive yes or a definitive no before you start to continue on.
I just felt, I mean,
is that expectation there?
When you don't have anything, no
you
don't have anything, no.
He said when you don't have it, that's the qualifier.
She ain't got anything, no. But if you have something to bounce off of, I feel like that's not me coming to her to where you have to answer to her. That is a communication thing to where we're like, okay, well, let's level this out. But when you have nothing, no, you're coming to me to make this decision and pull the trigger.
All right, let me ask the question again because she won't ask it again since she ain't paying attention. All right, the question was, dear, is there an expectation that a husband should have to answer to his wife? Yes or no? I'm sure I already know what you're going to say because, I had this conversation earlier with my wife. It was funny. She thought about it for a second. She said she just woke up. It's okay. It's okay. I'm just messing with you. But yeah, she had to think about it for a second, and it made damn sense because in the heat of the moment, I'm making a rash decision. I may need you to just be on point. And I can't get to all the Grand Inquisition at this time. I just can't. What do you mean? Give me a second. I'll let you know what's up. Just let me level everything out first, and then we'll talk about it. So more of a consulting, like you said, or come to the congregation ordeal. That's my standpoint. But what's your point on comment? I'm gonna read that, and then we're gonna take off because I want to, my only night off. Literally my only night off.
Bro, I have nothing to add to that. I gave you my answer. I think you were looking for her response. I gave you my
yeah. I was waiting for hers. I'm waiting for her to
I don't think she has one to type in to where, you know what I'm saying, unless she gonna cam up. But I mean,
no, she ain't gonna. Are you gonna cam up? Bottom line, man is the head, but she has the right. Ooh, why you gonna say that? Uncommon woman. You want me to drop the link so you can cam up? I know you said just woke up.
I mean, I don't. I mean, like I said, the question of decision. If you came with something, I
Question his
get it.
decisions.
We
Hell
go
no.
back to the drawing board
That's
after you've
disrespectful.
given something. After you've given something, and we could, I come back and you say, what? But if you gave me nothing,
right.
What are you questioning the decision for? You
Yeah,
had
like
nothing.
come on.
You
can't say
nothing.
bottom line the man is the head and then put in the the stipulation that well you then have the right to question the decisions of the head. Like think about this from a employer standpoint. You're not questioning your employer, your supervisor when they have to make drastic changes at work. Oh, but it's not the same. She has a right to question the decision, but doesn't have the right to go against the decision. Interesting. Hey, Neil. Hey, Queen, let me ask you. Dan, all y'all want to come on just when I was about to shut it down. All right, Queen, let me ask you. I asked Uncommon Woman. So I'm going to ask you. Do you think there is an expectation that the husband have to answer to his wife? Is there an expectation that a husband should have to answer to his wife? What's your answer to that, Queen? I can hear Des now. What do you mean, Neil? What do you mean? Ooh, going ham. Wilding out. But as JP would say, let her crash out. That's his whole point. That's
Because if you question it, I'm not going that way. Y'all can go that way, and I'll watch you. Bro, that goes with my man. I don't think you realize, man. That goes when if you got to question me, whatever your fate is, destruction wise, that's on you. I don't believe with saving the ones that should be act out. If my family can't get on board, bro, hey, listen.
right. Queen said, in what
I
regard?
promise you, I won't follow them into the destruction. I won't.
Queen said, in what regard? In general, no. Yeah, I mean, yeah, in general, no. But what about like in total, in totality? In totality, like throughout the entirety of the marriage, does a wife have a right to question her head, her husband, question his decisions? I don't know about all that, man. I don't know about all that. Brother can't get nothing done with all these questions. Straight up.
Let them burn, man.
Let them burn. See, there you go. There you go. That's that disengage. Hold up.
If you gotta question it, man, go your way.
Go your way.
Go your way.
Yeah.
If my decision that you feel like that you have to question, that there is if I am not the ego person that will let my pride and my ego get in the way of my decision making, that's the only reason, that's the only way that you should question it. But any man that's leading you that is a crash out, that's not the right man for you.
Yeah, precisely. And that becomes a
the
you
only
problem.
reason why you should have to question, because it sounds like he's about to crash out and put y'all in danger. But if what his decision is to get you out of anything, to get you out of it all, without it being a detriment of you, and he's sacrificing y'all by his decision and not basically sacrificing himself over y'all, then there's no reason for it to be questioned. There's no reason.
No, I hear what you're saying. Hold up. Uncommon Woman said, "Let the Most High lead." See, that's the slippery slope right there, because that opens up a little window where
But again,
and it's
when the
subjective
Most
too.
High is leading, when the Most High, with God first, family second,
Yeah, exactly.
what you hear his decision is to move forward does it not sound like the Most High is leading? That he will depend on and lean on the Most High,
right,
for guidance of what his next step
Thank
is.
you.
You have to
Thank
question
you.
all the
Thank you.
nuances of that. All it is resolving yourself of accountability to give an open space of for you to be able to not just strictly just say yes at it all and leave it there. All that if this, it's okay to do this, talk to God. That's who you married that man because all those characteristics that you're talking about, and he's a true leader. All of that should not even have to. You got to be well with some things. You mean in general, or you mean overall, bro? That should not ever be a question. Because when I gave context of what, when you tried to deviate me for the yes or no, I still gave context on why. If you can't give context on when you're saying, oh, general, because blah, 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 or overall, blah, 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 which there's still no context of you justifying that. I never gave that I had to answer to her, but I've given her to where, again, where she's not exiled of any input on this decision. But what my thing was is if you have no input to give and you're solely leaning on my decision, why do you have questions? Why?
Hold up, Queen said, if I am being led correctly, proper way, then I have no reason to question his judgment. Thank you.
That should have been the first response. And not, are you saying in general, overall?
You see that, Uncommon Woman?
See what
that
I
is
told
the
you?
answer.
We just had that, and I said this to you earlier. It is the one or two things that they play into, whether they're just coming with it. Just come with it. Right. That was one or two messages too many to come back around with that, and knowing that that was always the correct answer from the jump. Why play around with it? Come with it. Get that answer
Queen
out
got it
quick.
right. Queen got it right. But hold on, let me test her logic. So, Queen, let's say that your husband was going to make a rash decision that whereas he's going to uproot your entire family, right? And he's already solidified his job. He's secured a job. He's got the house. He did everything. And he says, look, we're going to be moving in the next week or so. Pack your things. No questions asked. You're going to be good. In that scenario, would you feel the need to want to question his judgment? Yes or no? Because you got to test their logic. Sometimes women say something that that in actuality, you know, women do the opposite of what they say in a lot of cases.
But when you ask questions like that, though, when you say that you testing their logic, they will fall into it because you still have given them whatever without being straight direct and saying, you know, understanding that what you ask that question. The one thing about it is the person that they've chosen, the job that he has, you've seen the growth, you've seen the path that is going, that would know that man would not make an irrational decision that y'all already have foresee or see at that point. That
that's the
whatever
default, right?
Is able to sustain uprooting you, leaving where you're at, trusting that the new move until you can either do what you need to do when you finally get there to get up, and I can hold down what's going on until you figure it out, or I can take you away from it all and just make sure that you take care of home. This new position that I got, I can take care of y'all to where you can focus on the important stuff like my house.
But I think, you know what I think? I just think, you know, we put a lot of emphasis on the men should be the heads, men should be the leaders, but we put hardly as much attention and focus on the art of following. I think women have abandoned that. Essentially, following and submitting has become a lost art. I think that a lot of women don't know what it is to follow, but yet they'll put the onus on a man, like you should make her follow your lead. Or no, they wouldn't say it like that. They'll say if you treat her right, she will follow you. It's almost like the the precursor conditions before you have to show yourself worthy as a man before I submit to you.
Well, because
I don't know about that.
this new generation has been lacking the action. We've been able to ride on the backs of the ancestors for so long of what the structure really looks like, the structure itself, but they're lacking the action of sustaining what the structure of what we say that is correct. So that is where you're going at, to where our generation has been able to come through the internet phase to where we see so much so quickly, so fast, to where we've gotten so old. The ones that are not married, that are single, have kicked the can down the road for so long that their expectations are unrealistic to have a partner. But not only that, you haven't given any prospects showing action. That it's a lot of talk that you can bring of someone that can follow and that you lead. So on both sides, it's a lack of, because social media has given this falsehood of what life is. Most people that's making a lot of money, but because a lot of people saying they have multiple streams of income, but most of the people that's getting a lot of this money is getting it from scamming or fast money. So we're living in a world that it's not enough. It's not that nobody is not getting any money anymore. An affordability crisis. It's a spending habit crisis, because we are now able to touch so much money at a astronomical amount of seconds, and we're not saving it. We're not doing right by it. You're just spending it. And we, back when we were at 08 and 09, we heard music, spend a check and get it right back. You've heard things that has been in our minds that insinuated at a
get
young age.
Get the money. You know, you hear those messages being promulgated to get the money, to be encouraged to go make the money, but nothing about sustaining it, growing it, saving it.
Grow it, and you told yourself, I know how to get it back, but you putting so much strain on yourself, because the faster you get it, the faster that you spend it, but the harder that you have to work to get it back. Plus, your mindset is to get that back, plus more, to give you some more wiggle room, so you can go blow that even faster.
Like a mofo.
So that's why computers and the AIs and the robots is going to come in to outlast us, because a lot of people now, when you look at 25-year-olds, they're looking even older, because, man, they're moving so fast. This new generation of kids are moving so fast, they're aging so quickly, because there's so much pressure and so much movement that they can't get no sleep. They're drugging, they drinking, and then it's so much mental. Listen to Rod Wave will make you want to just actually, make you want to commit suicide. So all of that toxic stuff in the mind is such a strain on these younger kids now, man, that robots are going to be able to come in, because they're going to outlive them.
Right. And let me just read. Mr. So-and-so says, if you are truly a leader, she should smoothly follow you. Otherwise, she will cause friction and disharmony. If she is already contentious, she will never follow your lead. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, unfortunately, that is the unvarnished truth, my friend. I think it's a fool's errand to even pursue those type of women. If she out the gates exhibit unruly, uncooperative characteristics, that she is the type of woman that would be a damn headache, don't even pursue it seriously. But what do you tell a group? What do you tell the majority of men that that's all they got to pick from? What do you tell them? Be celibate? To be abstinent? What do you say to them? What do you say to these guys that want to be married? And these are the unvirtuous women we have to select from.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and you can wrap it up, bro. You can tell them hold and seed, right? Focus on getting the money, because this is the thing, right? It's not about competing with a woman, right? To want to just dominate her just because she's a woman. But if we start to separate ourselves and then they try to implement themselves into our spaces, you have to dominate them. You're going to have to now, because men save more money by not having women. We just choose the women because we need to find something to spend all that money on. You know what I'm saying? Our prone thing is to be a provider, a protector. So having all that money is to have a woman by your side that can nurture you and be there for you, right? But if so many men start to make that money, start to, when they come into these spaces, crush them, force them out. So once you force them out, you have to prove that they're going to be so emotional that they start a war against us, or they're going to start talking to each other and saying, hey guys, we got to tighten up because shit, the bank account getting slim over here. It's getting harder for us to be able to get opportunity because these motherfuckers not letting us in. We need to tighten up, and it brings them back. But there will be ones that will be the detriment of themselves. Just like I always say, they have to flame out. Let them burn. Let them go be gay. Let them be carpet munchers. Let them be by themselves. Let them be pet owners. Let them be. But get them out of the way. Once they reveal themselves, that's who you don't approach. But the ones that do that, men still want chases and thrills that they will still entertain that because you want to walk them down. But we can't. We're now having so much information so quickly coming to us. We now know that we can visibly see that's what to stay away from. You have the agency and the choice to not go that way.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah, men can also compare notes too with each other, so that way we know, and that use that as a frame of reference as well. Other men's experience dealing with this particular archetype of woman. So, anyways, before we close it off, I can't believe I'm about to do this, but I just saw this quote here by your boy Future, and I think it's interesting. He says, dating many guys doesn't mean you are beautiful. Remember, cheap products have a lot of customers. Cheap products have a lot of customers. Mr. So-and-so, thank you. Queen, thank you. Uncommon woman, thank you. I'm thinking we got nobody. Okay, anyways, thank y'all. JP, thank you, man, for hitting me up. This was a great talk, bro. And if I don't talk to you before the holiday, I'll probably talk. If I don't talk to you before next week, I'll talk to you probably after the holiday.
All right, man. If I don't talk to you before then, man, happy birthday.
Yes, sir. Oh, snap. Yeah. You gotta call me and tell me happy birthday, man. What do you mean?
Yeah, hold up.
Peace out.
All right, man. I got you, bro.
Salute.